Hello and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. Today's video is going to be my next Project Pan update for 2024. So let's go ahead and get into it. First off, I do just want to mention that you didn't miss a video if you've been following this series. I did not post a Project Pan update last month. Things just got very hectic and crazy and I didn't have time to film it. So there wasn't one. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do the last 2 months progress for this update today. I'm just going to go through these products as quickly as possible. I will share how many times I have used them. I do have a few empties, which is very exciting. So let's go ahead and just get on into it. So the first item I have is from Briogeo. It is their Blossom and Bloom Root Volumizing Root Powder. It comes in a container like this, and I have managed to make some really good progress on this, thankfully, because I feel like this, well, first of all, it's a powder, so it doesn't settle correctly like in the container. I was having a really hard time tracking my usage, but when I went to make the mark for April's usage, it looked like I hadn't used any at all. It was very hard to see, but as you can see, I have actually made a lot of progress, and I'm actually thinking this perhaps might be finished this month. We'll have to see how it goes. But in April, I did use this 3 times, and in May, I used it 6 times for a total of 9 times. So that was 9 times, give or take. Again, I probably could have made a mark somewhere on there. I just could not get this product to settle correctly in the container. So anyway, that's this one. I'm very happy with the progress that I've been able to make the last 2 months, and I'm hoping that this will be an empty in my next update. The next item also has some pretty good usage. This is my Pacifica Vegan Silk Blowout Primer. It comes in a container like this. Now the pump on this quit working, so I was actually unscrewing it and pouring the product into my hand, which is why there is a lot more usage from last month. But here is our progress. I did use this 7 times in April and 10 times in May, but as you can see, I've made some very nice progress here, again, mostly because when I was having to pour it into my hand, obviously more was coming out than would the pump. I think I've gotten the pump working now, so we'll see how that goes. But looking at this, I'm guessing probably 2 more months and this should be done, which will be exciting because I don't love this and I'm really looking forward to going back to the curl cream that I would prefer to use, which I'm not going to allow myself to do till this is done. So hopefully in 2 months, I can say goodbye to this one. Next up, I have my Versed Backup Plan Acne Control Body Mist. It comes like this. It is a spray, and this is an airless pump, so it pushes up. So the first mark was down here, and we are now up here, which is very exciting. So in April, I used this 14 times, and in May, I used it 9 times. So pretty good progress. Again, we are getting into the smaller portion of the container, so I am guessing probably 2 months, and this should also be done. Next is my Olive & June Heal Balm. It looks like this. You just screw it up. I have talked about the fact that I don't love this, but this is now complete. I did use this 9 times in April. However, when I went to screw it up, the product like completely fell out onto the floor. So even though it wasn't completely finished, I threw the remaining product away. So this is done, and I did finish it on April 30th. Next, I have my Bite Agave Plus Weekly Lip Scrub. I've talked about this again. This has not gotten a ton of use, but actually, I feel like I am starting to see some progress on this, even though I only used it once in April and once in May. I'm gonna put some pictures right here. I decided to take the lid off and just take a picture of it down into the container. But when you mix the oil, for lack of a word, with the actual sugar scrub part, it's sitting pretty low in the container. So obviously this is still gonna take some use to get done. I've mentioned how I don't really love this. Somebody mentioned using it on my elbows, which would be a thought, but I think I'm just gonna keep trucking along and use it whenever I remember to use it. And if it's not done by the end of the year, that's okay. It will just be discarded. The next item is this Amore Pacific Treatment Enzyme Peel. This was just the little mini. I was tracking the progress, obviously, here. This is finished. I used it 3 times in April and finished it on April 24th. So this is officially done and can move on out of the project. All right, the next item I have is my Origins Original Skin Retexturizing Mask, which looks like this. Here's where we're sitting, so you can see not a lot of progress made. I only used this twice in the last 2 months, and both of the uses were in May, so 0 uses in April. This is not looking like it's going to get done this year. But, you know, it is what it is. I like this mask. However, because it is a little bit more drying, I've had to not use it as much as I was hoping because my skin got really dry and dehydrated in April, which is why I didn't use it at all. It kind of started to get back on track in May, so I went ahead and used it those 2 times, but I have not used it at all thus far in June. Today is actually June 9th, so it's a little bit further into the month, but yes, this, if it gets done, will be great. If not, that's okay. My goal is just to perhaps give it a little bit more usage than I would have normally done so. Obviously, the progress is not looking very good, but we'll see how it goes. The next item is my 10/10 nail polish in the shade Shimmer, which looks like this. I did use this once in April and 2 times in May, but you wouldn't know it. I have not been able to draw another mark on it. So it's still in the exact same spot, at least from what I can tell in the container, although it did get a little bit more use. This is another one that probably won't get done before the end of the year. We'll see how it goes. But yes, not much of a progress update on this one. My next item is my e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. I have been using this a little bit more. So in April, I used it 6 times, but I only used it once in May. Again, my skin has been very, very difficult. So here is what the container looks like. I'll put progress pictures right here. I do feel like you can see a bit of a difference, but nothing major. There is a lot of product still in here, so I'm just kind of poking at it as much as I can. Hopefully I can get it done by the end of the year. Probably not, but we'll just see how it goes. Then I have my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. I'll put pictures right here. This one I do feel like you can see some usage on, even though I don't use it as often during the school year, but I did use this 2 times in April and once in May. Here is what we are looking like. So you can see one whole side is absolutely cleared out, and I'm making a pretty good dent into the second half. So over half of this is gone. I'm just gonna keep poking at it. My thoughts is that I might be able to get some pretty good use out of it this summer, but we'll just see how that goes. Next, we're getting into some color cosmetics. I have my Too Faced Papa Don't Peach blush right here. I will put pictures on the screen for you. I cycle between cream and powder. So in April, I was using my powder blushes predominantly. So I did use this 10 times. I used it once in May. It is now back into my rotation for June. But here is what we are looking like. You can see I do have 2 little specks right there where it's showing pan, so making progress, but there's still plenty of product left. I do think I should be able to get this done by the end of the year, but we'll just have to see how it goes. The next blush I have is from my Benefit Blush Bar palette. It is the shade Rockateur, and it's very hard to show on screen. Here's the progress pictures. This is another one that I've been making some pretty good use with. I did use this 9 times in April, 0 times in May because I was on my cream blushes at that point, but it is this shade right here. So you can see it is definitely showing a lot of this grid through it, which means it's kind of thin, but there's still plenty of product that needs to be used up. I do think I should be able to get it done by the end of the year, which is the goal, because once that happens, this palette will be decluttered because I do not like this shade, which is California, and the Hoola bronzer is not a good shade for me. So this will be decluttered once Rockateur is done. So hopefully that will be by the end of the year. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into this little palette. If you watched my introduction video, you will know that I melted down 4 lipsticks to make 3 shades. So the first one that I have here is this peachy color. It is from Laneige. It is in Cashmere Nude. This one right here is Buxom's Las Vegas. And then this one is 2 shades from Tom Ford. It was Jared and Orchid Soleil. So here's what we are looking like. I did not use each of the shades the same amount of times this time, so let's just kind of go through them. So for the Laneige, I used it once in April and 6 times in May. For the Buxom, I used it 0 times in April and 7 times in May. And the Tom Ford shades 0 times in April and 8 times in May. So typically when I'm using this, I just go in order. So I'll use this on, say, Monday, this one Tuesday, this one Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You get what I'm saying. So obviously I didn't get the same amount of usage out of each shade, but the 2 shades that have good amounts of pan make me very, very happy. I'm definitely hoping that at least the Buxom shade will be done because that's been in a project pan for the last 2 years. So hopefully this will actually be the year that that one gets done. Next, let's get into some lip products. So I do still have this ColourPop lip gloss hanging around. I have not been able to get this finished, y'all. It is not showing enough usage for me to make a new mark, but I did use the lip gloss 6 times in April and 2 times in May. I was really hoping this would be done, but I feel like it is just not going down in terms of this last little bit at the bottom. Even when I pull the brush out, the product doesn't move. So I don't know how much longer this is gonna take. I would love for this to be done this month, but I don't know. We'll just play it by ear. It should get done by the end of the year at least, but I sure was hoping that this would be done in the first half of the year, which would mean I would need to get it finished this month in June, and I'm just not sure that's gonna happen because this just doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. Next, I have my Glossier Cherry Balm.com, which looks like this. I have been tracking it on the back. I did not draw a new mark. I did not use this enough to warrant it, I don't believe. So I did use it 3 times in April, 0 times in May. So it's basically at the same exact spot that it was. It's very hard to see, but there is a red line right here. So it hasn't moved from that, obviously. I only used it 3 times. So my next lip product is from Spoiled Child. It is their Conditioning Tinted Lip Balm. I'm pretty much giving up on this one. I have only used it a handful of times this entire year, and I really want to focus on the ones from Glossier and ColourPop because I've had those a lot longer. I just got this last year, so it's not super old, so this one I think I'm just going to kind of set to the side and stop tracking, even though it is definitely not an empty. Next up, I have my Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in the shade Pillow Talk. Here's the progress pictures. I only used this 2 times in both April and May, which seems low because I usually would use it every time I use the lip gloss, but maybe I missed some tallies or something. But anyway, this is getting some good usage. You can see some progress, which is nice. My thinking is that I probably have maybe 2 more months of this because I'm not sure how far down I'm gonna be able to sharpen before it just stops sharpening. So I figure 2 months and this will probably be finished. All right, now we have a couple eyeshadows. My first one is my ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Frog. So here's the progress pictures. I only used this 2 times in both April and May, but you can see the pan has expanded, and that is not just because the product moves around. There are actually some holes in here now, which is very exciting. I definitely think I will be able to get it done by the end of the year, which is my goal because I do not want the formula to dry out. I also have my Urban Decay Single Shadow in the shade Foxy. This has gotten a lot of use because the shade that was very comparable to this in my Pan That palette is gone. So I've been using this basically every time I wear eyeshadow. I did use it 17 times in April and 15 times in May. So here's what we are looking like. There is just that little bit of product around the edge of the pan, and I'm definitely thinking this is going to be done probably within the next 2 months, maybe even this month, but that seems a little overambitious. But yeah, it's just a basic nude shade. I like to use it to set my eyeshadow primer, and then I usually pop a shimmer on the lid for like a really easy look. So this is definitely going to get done by the end of the year, which is exciting. And my last two items are perfumes. So I have my Coach Poppy Eau de Parfum, which is a rollerball perfume that I had been working on basically since the first of the year, and it is finally finished. So I did use this 15 times in April and 10 times in May. I completed it on May 23rd, and it is officially gone and can leave my collection. This also means that I can start working on the second perfume in my project. This one is from Sephora. It is from their Little Mermaid collab several years ago. It is called Kiss the Girl. I did not use it at all in April as I was still working on the Coach perfume, but I did use it 5 times in May, and I have already made a little bit of progress. It's kind of hard to see since I used that green, but you can see it has moved the slightest little bit. So I'm very excited that I've moved on to this. This is like a perfect summery shade. It reminds me of lakes, water, which obviously Kiss the Girl, it's supposed to. And I think it just smells wonderful for summer. So I'm very excited to use this one up and move it on out of my collection. It's a lovely scent. It was a limited edition thing, so it's not available anymore, but I will definitely enjoy giving this some love. Okay, so that is my Project Pan update for both April and May. Again, apologies that I didn't film a video last month. It just was not going to happen. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Just as a heads up, the day this video goes up, I am actually heading in to finally get surgery on my ankle to fix the ongoing issue that I have had for many years. And that means that I'm going to be laid up pretty much for the remainder of the summer. Because of that, I don't know how much makeup I'm going to be putting on, if any at all, since standing is not something I'm going to be allowed to do on my bad foot for like 6 to 8 weeks. So these videos will hopefully continue in their monthly format, but just be aware that as you're watching this, I'm potentially in surgery or out of surgery, and we'll just have to play this next update by ear. But all that being said, I do hope to have some videos out to you over the summer, so we'll see how that goes. If you enjoyed this one, please do leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video, whenever that is. Bye, everyone.